Lisa Eldridge Velatura Balm Dupes. 3 drugstore alternatives under $10. Hi everyone, welcome back to Real Skin with Rosanna. Now, I am a huge fan of Lisa Eldridge. I own around 31 lipsticks. I keep saying almost 30, but I think it's over 30. And I love her makeup line, but it can be pricey. It's definitely a luxury brand. So if you're like me and you've fallen in love with Lisa Eldridge's new Velatura Balm sticks, they're not quite new, but they're fairly new. They're gorgeous, elegant, and extremely flattering. The downside, they're $36. So today I'm putting 3 shades up against affordable drugstore alternatives that cost about a quarter of the price. I'm going to compare the Pomegranate Glace with Revlon Glaring Red, Cinnamon Bun versus Maybelline Lifter Glaze Latte Crush, and the Rose Madder versus the E.L.F. Dazzling Peony, which can also be used as a highlighter or a blush. So if you enjoy luxury versus drugstore comparisons for mature skin, I'd love it if you'd also subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think. So let's get started. So first, about the formulas. These aren't matte lipsticks, of course. They're very moisturizing. Lisa's Velatura Balm is like a hybrid lip and cheek balm. It has a dewy finish. It feels lightweight. It's hydrating and gives that sort of like effortless your lips but better look. It's sheer but buildable with like a glossy sheen, and it can be used also on your cheeks. In her video, she just kind of pats it on and then she uses her fingers in a downward like swipe to put it on your cheeks. The Revlon also is moisturizing, and I think it has more of a glossy finish. The Maybelline Lifter Glaze contains hyaluronic acid and oils, and it gives lots of shine and hydration. So the last one, the E.L.F. Balm, also gives that soft, glossy, balm-like finish. It's not necessarily meant to be used as a lipstick, but hey, let's try a hack. Why not, right? You can do both lips and cheeks just like the Velatura Balms. Now, none of these are going to be transfer proof or long wearing. They're just comfortable everyday lip products. You will have to reapply 101 times, but that's the price for looking cute. Okay, so the price for Lisa Eldridge Velatura Balms is $36. Revlon is around $9. Maybelline is also $9. And the E.L.F., you know, depending where you shop, could be anywhere from like $7 to $11. So it's a big savings of roughly, you know, $25. So let's swatch. So first I'm going to do the Pomegranate Glaze. So here is the Lisa Eldridge Balm. Now it's a pretty big like container or package for kind of what you get. It's kind of a plasticky, so I don't know. I don't love the packaging, I'll be honest. I don't think it needs to be this big, but I understand why it's this big because it's also going to be used for like a cheek. So first I'm going to swatch it on my hand. So it's like a very juicy like red. It's really pretty. It's sheer enough that I think it doesn't overwhelm mature skin, but you can build it into a vibrant, you know, finish if you wanted to. So I'm gonna, now it feels really nice on. I'm gonna show you up close. So it's a really pretty red, and I'm just gonna get some more on here, build it up a little bit, and let's see. So it looks like a juicy red. I think it's great for summer. And then we're gonna compare it to the Revlon. I'm gonna take this off, and then I'm gonna put the Glaring Red. Okay, next is the Revlon Glaring Red, and I'm gonna swatch my hand so you can kind of see. This is like a little more like emollient. So you can see it's this one right here. So fairly close. So let's see what it looks like on. And then I'll also do like a side-by-side photo. So I think with this one, it might be a little bit, this might be a touch warmer and maybe more opaque, but I think for brightness, I think it's surprisingly close. Also a nice kind of juicy red for summer. I think if you saw someone across the room, I don't think you would be able to tell. I think this one is a fantastic dupe. I'll show you again. I think this is beautiful. The only thing is that the name, I don't know who is in the Revlon marketing department, but Glaring Red, they probably could have done better, but I'm nitpicking. So the next up is going to be the Cinnamon. Okay, Cinnamon Bun might be my favorite shade of the 3. It's like a warm caramel nude with just enough brown to kind of define the lips, but it's got a bit of, you know, of color. It doesn't look flat. When I first went to order this, I was hesitant because I was like, ooh, that's really brown. What's it gonna look like on me? But it's really, here it is. It's really very pretty. And it does have a lot of color. It doesn't have a lot of pigment, and it works surprisingly nice as a blush. So I really like this cinnamon bun again. So it's a really pretty color, feels really nice. Also moisturizing. It's a balm, so it's a really good choice. And now we're gonna try the Maybelline Latte Crush. So this is the Latte Crush, and this one surprised me because I think the undertone is fairly close. I think it's a little lighter, so I'm gonna just show you. So definitely not a match. This feels like it's warmer a little bit, maybe more coral, but I think this one has a little bit more shine, but they both give you kind of like that nude look. And again, I'll try to do a side photo so you can kind of, you know, see. I think these are remarkably close as well. This might give a little bit more shine. The Lisa Eldridge feels like it has more slip, a little bit more moisturizing, but this feels pretty good too. I think with this one, you might not have to reapply it as much, but it's still like a lighter, it's not a matte in the sense, you know, but I think strictly by color and for under $10, I think this is pretty impressive. Now, based on the swatches, again, this is Cinnamon Bun by Lisa, and this is the Maybelline. They don't really look similar on my hands, but of course my lips are darker. And so I think it looks really pretty good. So that's the Cinnamon Bun Dupe in Latte Crush. So next we're gonna do Rose Matte. Okay, this is the Rose Matter. It's a gorgeous rosy pink, and it's, I think she says it's a cool, but I don't know. It seems kind of warm to me, but let me see if you can see that. It's really pretty. It's like, gives you like that youthful look, but it's not super bright. And I think this is so pretty for every day. It's just gorgeous. Kind of your lips, but better, just like a little pop of pink, but not, it's not like a nude pink or a really like light pink. It's just really a really pretty shade. And this looks really nice also on the cheeks. So I'll give you another quick look. Also really nice. And next we're gonna try the E.L.F. Dazzling Peach. Okay, and here's the E.L.F. It's the monochromatic multi-stick. So you could use it cheeks, probably use it as a highlighter if you have maybe a deeper toned skin. And blush, this seems like it's like a bit of a drier application here or feel. So let's see, this is probably gonna be softer. So let's see, and maybe cooler. All right, so for this one, I think it's definitely a little cooler and it feels definitely less glossy. And I think it's more buildable, but definitely a little bit less color payoff and more matte. Like it's more, but not even matte, but more muted. I'd say it's more muted, but also really pretty for every day. I don't think this would be an exact dupe, but I think it really comes close. So the formula differences, I think the Lisa Eldridge, it's a balm, it's a little bit more luxe, but I feel that the Glaring Red might have been the closest match, followed really closely by the Cinnamon Bun, and maybe the E.L.F. and the Rose Matter, you know, come in last. So, you know, the texture for Lisa feels more like refined, and you can definitely use, you know, it's a balm to be used as a cheek for blush and for lips. The Glaring Red is really a lipstick, but I don't see why you can't use it for a blush. Same thing with the Latte Crush and certainly the E.L.F. stick. So really, I think these were closer than I really expected. And I don't think, you know, in terms of the pomegranate glacé and the cinnamon bun, I don't think you could really tell the difference. Again, the last one, this has more of a muted pink color. So this would be the dead last in terms of dupe. But I'd like to hear what your rankings are and if you could tell the difference or if you thought they were dupes. But I'd happily wear any of these. I own the 3 Velatura Balms and I use them regularly, and I definitely will use the Glaring Red and the Latte Crush. This one, the E.L.F., I usually use strictly as a cheek mostly, but having tried it as a lip, I don't see why you can't, you know, use that hack. So Again, my final thoughts. Lisa Eldridge still creates some of the most beautiful luxury lip products, and just her makeup line is great. You're definitely paying for the premium ingredients, the undertones, all of that, the packaging. Although I don't, like I said, I'm not that in love with this packaging, but it's fine. But if $36 is not in your budget and you prefer to spend under 10, or you just prefer to spend under 10, I think these drugstore options are surprisingly close. And for me, saving money is always a good idea. I'd love to know in the comments, would you spend $36? Have you spent $36? Do you own any of the balms? Or would you prefer to save $27 and maybe spend it on something like a foundation? So let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I will definitely try to do the side by side with the lipstick so you can see. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If this video helped you at all to save a little money, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.